I was still holding the little blue certificate when my mom ripped it from my hand like it was something dirty. I'd barely stepped inside the house. My daughter, Emily, was still behind me, clutching her backpack to her chest like she suddenly wasn't sure she was allowed to breathe. "This?" my mom barked, waving the certificate like a used tissue. "This ugly little paper is why you're late." Emily, only 9, whispered, I won the reading award today." Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. Mom didn't even look at her. She looked at me. Always me. With that same expression she'd worn since I was a kid, like she was waiting for me to fail so she could enjoy the sound of it. "You bragging now?" she hissed. "Trying to show off in front of the neighbors? Acting like your kid's success means something?" I said quietly, "Mom, it was a small award ceremony. Her teacher said," but she didn't let me finish. Her hand shot out, grabbing a fistful of my hair so hard my vision burst with white. Emily gasped. My mom yanked my head sideways, dragging me toward the kitchen like she was taking out the garbage herself. Behind me, Dad chuckled, a lazy, amused sound. "Don't break her neck, Linda. We still need her to do chores. Not that she's good for much anyway." Mom kept dragging me, my scalp burning, my daughter's tiny footsteps scrambling behind us. "Mom, please," Emily squeaked. "She didn't do anything." "Shut up," Mom snapped. "Your mother's been asking for this since she opened her mouth this morning." The kitchen smelled like bleach and old food. The trash can was overflowing because they never let me take it out until they felt like ordering me around. Mom stopped right in front of it, tightened her grip on my hair, and hissed into my ear. "You think you're better because your brat won some stupid school award? Trash doesn't raise trophies." She shoved my face down. I tried to pull back, but she twisted my hair, forcing my head lower, and then my nose slammed into the edge of the trash can, metal clanging, and she shoved my face inside. The smell hit me instantly. Rotting onions, spoiled milk, something sour from last night's leftovers they wouldn't let me eat. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even scream. Emily screamed for me. Dad walked in, took one look, and grinned like it was entertainment. "Ah, there we go," he said. "Trash belongs with trash. Remember that next time you pretend your daughter's worth something." Mom finally yanked my head out. My face was wet, sticky. Something slimy sliding down my cheek. I held the counter to steady myself. Emily ran to me, crying so hard she hiccuped. Mommy, are you okay? Please look at me, please!" Mom shoved her aside. "And you," she said, pointing at her. "Don't get used to this attention. We don't celebrate losers in this family." "She's not a loser," I croaked. Dad smirked. "She's your kid, isn't she? What else would she be?" I felt something inside me crack, not break, crack, quietly, like the first snap in a long chain of consequences. Mom stood in front of me, breathing heavy, hair wild from rage, eyes blazing. "From now on," she said, "you will ask before bringing that child into my house celebrating anything. You hear me?" Emily whispered. "Grandma, why don't you like us?" Mom leaned down to her level. "Because you're a copy of your mother, useless, dramatic, a burden." Something in Emily's little chest collapsed. She stepped back, her lip trembling, and Mom actually smiled like she won something. Dad opened a bag of chips and started eating. "Hey," he said to Mom, "make her clean the trash can while she's there. She's already got her face in it." Mom turned to me. "Yeah, clean it, and don't wash your face first. Consider this a lesson." Emily grabbed my arm. "Mommy, no, please don't do it." But I wasn't crying. I wasn't shaking. I wasn't pleading. I just stared at them, both of them. Really stared, like I was seeing them clearly for the first time in my life. Mom waved her hand in front of my face. "What are you staring at?" Dad laughed. "She's probably thinking of running away again. Let her. She always crawls back anyway." I didn't speak. I didn't argue. I didn't clean the trash can. I just straightened up, wiped whatever was on my face with the back of my sleeve, and slowly walked to my room with Emily holding my hand. Mom yelled behind me, "Hey, did you hear me? I said clean it." Dad added, "Maybe shove her other daughter's face in it next time. That kid needs discipline." Emily flinched. I closed the door quietly, sat down on the bed, pulled her into my arms, and for the first time in my entire worthless life, as they called me, I didn't feel weak. I felt awake, like something cold, sharp, calculating was finally rising. Emily whispered, "Mom, are we in trouble?" I kissed her forehead. "No, baby," I said softly. "They are." That night, long after my parents went to bed drunk on their own cruelty, Emily crawled onto my mattress like she used to when she was a toddler, quiet, scared, clutching her stuffed rabbit by one ear. "Mommy," she whispered, "are we leaving?" I looked at the ceiling, at the water stain shaped like a fist. I'd stared at that mark so many nights, wishing it would crack open and swallow me whole. But tonight was different. The room felt too small, the air too sharp. My daughter shouldn't have to breathe the same oxygen as people who shoved my face into trash and called her worthless for winning an award. But leaving wasn't enough. They wouldn't let us disappear quietly. They would come after us, not because they loved us, but because they needed someone to hurt. I held Emily close. "We're going to fix things," I said. "But it has to be smart." She looked up, eyebrows knitted. "Are you mad at them?" I laughed softly, not because it was funny, but because my chest hurt. "Baby, I'm done being mad. I'm done being scared." In the morning, everything felt deceptively normal. Mom made coffee. Dad sat at the table scrolling through his phone. Their cruelty always vanished in daylight like it never happened. Mom didn't even look at me. "There's laundry in the machine. Don't shrink your sister's shirts like last time," Dad added. "And breakfast for your niece. She doesn't eat garbage like your kid." Emily looked down at her shoes, but I touched her shoulder. "Go brush your teeth, sweetheart," I told her. "We're leaving soon." Mom didn't like that. "Leaving where?" she demanded. "Errands," I said simply. She scoffed. "Errands? You? The only errands you do are mistakes." Dad laughed into his mug. "If she's going out, make sure she doesn't embarrass the house. Again." I kept a steady face. "We won't be long." But really, I needed a few hours. A few hours to gather something they didn't think I had, proof. Not for the police, not for social services. I didn't want them jailed. I didn't want them exposed. No, I wanted something worse. I wanted them empty, hollow, living with the exact same fear they shoved down my throat my entire life. We left the house quietly, me with my old phone in my pocket, Emily holding my hand tightly. We got on a bus, 2 stops, then another. I watched my mother's neighborhood fade behind us until it looked like a smear of gray on the horizon. "Mom," Emily asked. "What are we doing?" I exhaled. "We're going to see someone." That someone was Ms. Green, my old school counselor from years ago. The only adult who ever believed me, the only one who ever saw through the makeup I smeared over bruises before class. She opened the door, blinking in surprise. "Oh my God, it's been years. Are you okay?" Emily immediately hugged her leg. And I broke for a moment. Not from weakness, from relief. I told her everything, not dramatically, not crying, just facts. Cold, crisp, unshakable. Like I was reciting someone else's life. Her face went pale. "They did what to you?" "And to her," I added quietly, looking at Emily. She put a hand over her mouth. "I should have done more when you were a kid. I'm so sorry." "You can help now," I said, "but not the way you think." She frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" "I don't want them arrested. I don't want a public scene. I want them restricted, cut off, permanently. I want the law, not emotion, to keep them away from us." She nodded slowly. "You want full legal separation, full custody, full independence, documentation of abuse, but no criminal pursuit." "Exactly." She looked impressed and a little scared. "You've thought about this for a long time." "For most of my life," I admitted. She helped us gather evidence, statements, records, old school notes she'd kept, hospital visits from accidents that suddenly didn't look so accidental. She typed everything up, page after page. Emily sat quietly in the corner, drawing with crayons Ms. Green gave her. When we finished, my counselor leaned back. With all of this, they won't be able to demand anything from you. Ever. No custody claims, no visitation, no legal rights, nothing. That was the point. They always treated me like a thing they owned, a punching bag, a maid, a mistake. They were about to learn what life felt like without me, without their scapegoat, without their free childcare, without their emotional punching bag, without their trash. When Emily and I stepped outside, the wind felt different, like it didn't push against us anymore. Back home, Mom was pacing by the front door. "There you are," she snapped. "Where did you take that brat? I needed you here. Your sister's coming over and you need to make the house look presentable." Dad stood behind her, smirking, arms folded. "You been crying?" "What? Did she finally admit she's sick of being your kid?" Emily clenched my hand tighter. I didn't blink. "We won't be staying long." Mom barked out a laugh. "Please. You wouldn't survive an hour without us. Who else would tolerate you?" Dad added, "Trash doesn't move on its own. Someone has to drag it." I stepped past them, picked up the small bag of things I'd packed for us, and walked toward the door again. Mom's voice cracked. "Where do you think you're going?" I turned slowly, and for the first time in my life, I saw fear in her eyes, a small flame, weak. But there, just the beginning. Mom stepped forward like she expected me to flinch the way I always had, but I didn't move. I held her stare until she blinked first. Dad scoffed. "Stop pretending you're tough. You'll be back by dinner. You always come crawling back." "No," I said calmly. "This time you won't even be allowed to call." Mom froze. "What are you talking about?" I took a folder out of my bag and placed it on the entry table, right between the stack of bills they always made me pay and the keys they never let me borrow. Dad grabbed it, opened it, skimmed the first page. His face drained so fast it looked like someone unplugged him. Mom snatched it from his hand and her knees almost gave out. "What is this?" she whispered. "Legal separation," I said. "Emergency custody documents, abuse statements, school reports, medical records, signed witness testimonies, and a permanent no-contact order filing already in progress." Mom's voice cracked. You went to the police?" "No," I said. "I didn't want you arrested. I wanted you powerless." Dad shook his head. "This is fake. You're bluffing." I handed him the stamped confirmation from the court portal. Real seal, real case number, real consequences. He stumbled back like the paper burned him. Mom grabbed my arm desperately. "You can't cut us out. We're family." I peeled her hand away. "You made sure we never were." Dad slammed his fist on the wall. "You think you're better than us now?" "No," I said. "I'm free from you. That's different." I guided Emily to the door. She didn't look back. Mom's voice cracked into a scream. "You can't take her! She's our granddaughter!" I didn't turn. "You shoved my face into trash because she succeeded. You lost the right to even say her name." Dad yelled, "You'll regret this! When you need help, don't you dare crawl back." I opened the door fully. "I won't," I said. "That's the point." Outside, the air felt cold, but in a clean way, not the dirty cold inside that house. Emily wrapped her arms around me. "Mom," she whispered, "are we safe now?" I looked down at her. "We are now," I said, "and they can't touch us again." Behind us, the shouting turned into silence. Not the silence of peace, the silence of people realizing they finally lost control. And they lost it to the girl they called trash, the same girl who walked away and shut the door on them for good. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.